From viral headlines to YouTube clickbait, Japan's abandoned houses have captured the imagination of the entire internet. A beautiful traditional home for $500. It sounds like the deal of a lifetime. But behind the dream lies a reality that most people never hear about. This is the truth about Akiya houses and what they actually cost. Every few months, the same headline breaks the internet. Buy a house in Japan for $500. The story goes viral on CNN, BBC, TikTok, and YouTube. Millions of people picture themselves sipping tea on a wooden veranda, surrounded by cherry blossoms, all for less than a month's rent back home. And here is the thing, the listings are technically real. You can find houses in rural Japan listed for as little as 50,000 yen, roughly $330. Some municipalities even give houses away for free. But what the headlines never tell you is what happens after you sign the paperwork. Quick reality check. I have spent months digging into this. The gap between the viral dream and the actual experience is enormous. Let me walk you through what the clickbait leaves out. Akiya literally means empty house in Japanese, and Japan has 9 million of them, an all-time record. That is 13.8% of every home in the country sitting vacant. Nearly 4 million of those are truly abandoned, left to rot with no plans, no maintenance, and no future. The numbers have quadrupled since 1978, and they are accelerating. Japan's population is shrinking by over 800,000 people per year. Deaths outpace births by a staggering margin. The fertility rate hit a record low of 1.15 in 2024, far below the 2.1 needed just to maintain the population. Young people are flooding into Tokyo and Osaka, leaving entire villages behind. And here is a cultural factor most outsiders miss. Japanese homebuyers overwhelmingly prefer new construction. Homes depreciate to near zero value in about 20 to 30 years. Nobody wants an old house. Five forces are driving Japan's vacancy crisis. First, pure demographics. The country is aging faster than any nation in history. By 2050, 1/3 of all Japanese will be over 65. Second, rural exodus. The bright lights of Tokyo pull young workers away from villages that once thrived on farming and fishing. Third, inheritance gridlock. 59% of Akiya are inherited properties, often by children who live in distant cities and have zero interest in a crumbling rural house. Until April 2024, inheritance registration was not even mandatory, meaning some properties have dozens, even hundreds of legal heirs. Fourth, the demolition tax trap. Land with a building on it is taxed at 1/6 the rate of vacant land. Demolishing a worthless house increases your tax bill by 6 times. So owners leave decaying buildings standing. And fifth, cultural preference. Japanese buyers want new. Old houses carry stigma, and the market reflects it. Let us address the elephant in the room. Can you actually buy a house in Japan for $500? Technically, yes. Listings at 50,000 to 80,000 yen do exist, mostly in the remotest parts of Shikoku, Tohoku, and rural Kyushu. Some Akiya banks list properties at literally 0 yen. But these are the absolute bottom of the market. They are severely deteriorated houses in locations so remote that the nearest hospital or supermarket might be an hour away. Many have collapsed roofs, termite damage through the foundation, and mold that has been growing unchecked for decades. Think of it like saying you can buy a car for $1 at a government auction. Technically true, but the car does not run, needs $10,000 in repairs, and still costs you in registration and insurance every year. The realistic price range for a livable Akiya starts at 500,000 to 1 million yen. That is $3,000 to $7,000. And even at that price, you are buying a project, not a home. Even before renovation, buying an Akiya comes with costs that the headlines conveniently ignore. You will pay a real estate agent commission of roughly 3% plus $400. Registration and license taxes add another half to 2% of the assessed value. A judicial scrivener, Japan's equivalent of a property lawyer, costs $600 to $1,300. That is a legal requirement, not optional. You also face a real estate acquisition tax of 3 to 4%, billed about 6 months after purchase, plus stamp duty on the contract documents. For a house listed at $5,000, your actual purchase costs, including all fees, can easily reach $8,000 to $10,000. For a 0 yen free house, you are still paying $2,000 to $4,000 just in transaction costs before you even touch the building. Here is something nobody mentions. Those free houses from municipalities? They usually require you to become a permanent resident of that town, renovate within a set time frame, and live there for 5 to 10 years. Free is never truly free. This is where the dream meets reality. Renovation is the single biggest cost of any Akiya purchase, and it dwarfs the price of the house itself. Most Akiya were built before 1981, meaning they do not meet Japan's current earthquake resistance standards. Seismic retrofitting alone costs $7,000 to $20,000 or more. A full roof replacement runs $2,000 to $7,000. Plumbing and electrical rewiring, another $700 to $3,000 each. If you are in rural Japan without municipal sewer connections, you need a septic tank, $10,000 to $17,000. Kitchen and bathroom renovations easily add $7,000 to $23,000. And if the house has asbestos, which is common in buildings from the 60s through the 80s, specialized removal is legally required and expensive. The rule of thumb from every Akiya expert and renovation contractor I have researched is the same. Budget at least 8 million yen, roughly $55,000, as your realistic all-in number for purchase plus renovation to make an Akiya genuinely livable. That $500 house. It is actually a $55,000 house. At minimum. Even after renovation, the costs never stop. Annual property taxes run about 1.4% of assessed value, plus a city planning tax of 0.3% in urban areas. Utilities, water, electricity, gas cost $800 to $1,000 per year. Homeowner insurance adds another $130 to $330. Add a maintenance reserve for Japan's harsh climate, typhoons, heavy snowfall in the north, summer humidity that attacks wooden structures, and your annual carrying cost is roughly $1,700 to $3,300 per year. Every single year, whether you live there or not. Even a so-called free house costs you money forever. Beyond the obvious costs, Akiya come with pitfalls that can turn a bargain into a nightmare. Structurally, most abandoned homes suffer from termite damage, extremely common in Japan's wooden architecture and capable of compromising the entire foundation. Add decades of mold from Japan's humid summers, wood rot from water intrusion through failed roofs, and you have buildings that are genuinely dangerous. Then there is the ownership nightmare. Some properties have deceased owners still on the title, with multiple heirs who all must agree to sell. One notorious case in Himeji had 93 people listed as legal heirs across multiple generations of unresolved inheritance. Good luck getting 93 people to agree on anything. Do not skip the structural inspection. I have seen cases where buyers budgeted 3 million yen for renovation and ended up spending 10 million. The problems you cannot see, termites in the foundation, asbestos in the walls, are always the most expensive. The legal landscape adds another layer of complexity. Agricultural land zoning means many rural Akiya sit on land you cannot freely develop without approval from the local agricultural committee. And as of April 2025, restrictions on foreigners buying farmland were tightened further. The 2023 Vacant Homes Special Measures Law gave municipalities new power to designate poorly managed vacant homes for penalty taxation, order repairs, and even demolish buildings, billing the owner for the cost. Then there is the social dimension that no YouTube video tells you about. the Kanaikai, Japan's neighborhood associations. As an Akiya buyer, you are expected to join, pay annual dues, and participate in community cleanups, disaster drills, local festivals, garbage management rotations, and in the north, snow removal. This is not legally mandatory, but it is an extremely strong social obligation. Refusing creates friction with your neighbors, which in rural Japan can make your life very difficult. Here is the good news. Japan is one of the most open countries in the world for foreign property ownership. Foreigners receive the same freehold ownership rights as Japanese citizens. No nationality restrictions, no residency requirements, no time limits. You own the land outright. But here is what the dream sellers never mention. Buying property in Japan does not give you residency. Japan has no golden visa, no investment visa tied to real estate. If you want to actually live in your Akiya full-time, you need a completely separate qualifying visa, a work visa, a spousal visa, or a business manager visa requiring about $33,000 in capital and an active business. You can visit your property on a 90-day tourist visa, but you cannot make it your permanent home without navigating Japan's immigration system independently. And one more thing. In October 2025, the Japanese government launched a study examining how Canada, Germany, South Korea, and Taiwan regulate foreign property buyers. New restrictions could come as early as late 2026. This is the single biggest misconception I see repeated everywhere. Buying a house in Japan does not mean you can live in Japan. Those are two completely separate things. Location is everything with Akiya, and here is the paradox. The cheapest houses are in the worst locations for investment. The highest vacancy rates are in Wakayama and Tokushima at over 21%, followed by Yamanashi and Kagoshima. The fastest population decline is in Akita at nearly 2% per year, followed by Aomori and Kochi. These are where the cheapest Akiya live and where the least demand exists. For actual investment potential, 3 tiers emerge. Tier 1, Nagano Prefecture, with low entry prices, 90 minutes from Tokyo by bullet train, strong skiing and hiking tourism, and active government renovation subsidies. Sapporo in Hokkaido offers the best rental yields at roughly 5% with strong tourism demand. And Kagawa on Shikoku has emerging art and culture tourism around the Naoshima Art Islands. Tier 2, regional cities like Osaka, Fukuoka, and Nagoya where population is actually growing, but Akiya prices are accordingly higher. The pattern is clear. Where Akiya are cheapest, demand is weakest. Where demand exists, prices are higher. There is no free lunch. To combat the crisis, Japan's municipalities offer generous incentives. Purchase subsidies range from $3,000 to $13,000. Renovation grants cover up to 50% of costs, worth $3,000 to $20,000. Earthquake retrofit subsidies add another $7,000 to $20,000. Over 1,700 municipalities now operate Akiya banks, online databases matching abandoned homes with potential buyers. English-friendly platforms like Akiya Mart, Old Houses Japan, and Akiya Hub have made searching significantly easier for foreigners. Some towns even offer free houses with conditions. You must become a permanent resident, renovate within a set time frame, and commit to living there for 5 to 10 years. These are real programs, but extremely competitive and rarely available without Japanese language skills. Can you turn an Akiya into an income property? Yes, but with significant constraints. Japan's Minpaka law caps short-term rentals at 180 days per year. You must register with local government, file bi-monthly reports on guest counts and nationalities, and install fire safety equipment. If you are not present during guest stays, you must hire a licensed management company, costing 15 to 20% of revenue. Realistic numbers: a rural Akiya guest house near a tourist area can earn $80 to $130 per night at 40 to 60% occupancy during the allowed 180 days. That is $6,000 to $14,000 in gross annual revenue. After management fees, cleaning, utilities, maintenance, and platform fees, your net income is roughly 40 to 60% of gross, so $2,400 to $8,000 per year. For a property where you invested $55,000 all in, that is a 4 to 15% return in the best case. Break even in 7 to 20 years, assuming nothing breaks. In most locations, the demand simply is not there to fill even 180 nights. The math only works near established tourist destinations, places like Nagano's ski areas, Hakone, or the Seto Inland Sea. A random farmhouse in rural Akiya is not generating Airbnb income. The reason the house is empty is the same reason tourists are not visiting. Long-term rental is another option, but rural rents are extremely low, $200 to $330 per month. Even at 5% yields, finding tenants in depopulating areas is the real challenge. Nobody is moving to the village, everyone else is leaving. And here is the uncomfortable truth about appreciation. Japanese homes do not appreciate. They depreciate to near zero over 20 to 30 years. In declining areas, even the land values are falling. You are buying a depreciating asset in a shrinking market. The Nomura Research Institute projects 30% of all Japanese homes could be vacant by 2033. When supply massively outpaces demand, prices go one direction, down. Despite the challenges, real success stories do exist. A couple in Wakayama bought a 2-story seaside home for under $2,500, renovated it into a tourist guest house, and now offers what they call an abandoned house experience: shoji screens, ocean views, and traditional Japanese living. In Kitsuki, Oita Prefecture, residents transformed a 150-year-old restaurant into a shared community space, inspiring a wave of Akiya repurposing across the town. A British expat named Sam King, a 7-year Japan resident, bought an Akiya in a rural mountain area with his wife for about $100,000 total. He described it as such a beautiful house, but was clear it was a lifestyle choice, not a profit play. The pattern in every success story is the same. They had realistic expectations, significant renovation budgets, existing ties to Japan, and they treated it as a lifestyle investment, not a financial one. The failure stories are equally instructive. A couple in Yamagata thought they had landed a free home, only to discover a buried oil tank and 15 years of unpaid property taxes. Their free house became an immediate financial liability. Renovation cost overruns are the most common failure pattern. Multiple experts report the same thing. The list of what needs to be done gets longer as the process unfolds. Buyers budget 3 million yen and spend 10 million or more. Problems you cannot see: termites in the foundation, asbestos in the walls, rot behind the plaster, are always the most expensive. The Japan Times summed it up best in September 2024. First lesson of Japan's Akiya Gold Rush: no such thing as a free house. Their analysis found that only 15% of vacant houses are in both decent condition and convenient locations. The other 85% are severely deteriorated, not up to code, or in areas with poor accessibility. So here is the honest verdict. For most foreign buyers, Akiya are not a good financial investment. You are buying a depreciating asset in a shrinking market, in locations where demand is weakest, with renovation costs that dwarf the purchase price, and no residency pathway attached. But Akiya can make sense for the right person. Long-term Japan residents seeking a rural lifestyle or weekend retreat. Retirees with a spousal visa and a love for the Japanese countryside. Hospitality entrepreneurs with capital, a tourism-viable location, and a proper business plan. Cultural preservationists who see it as a passion project. And DIY enthusiasts who genuinely enjoy the renovation journey. Japan's Akiya crisis is a real demographic tragedy. A country heading toward 30% vacancy and a population that could have by 2120. The opportunity exists, but it requires realistic expectations, significant capital beyond the purchase price, existing connections to Japan, and the understanding that this is a lifestyle investment, not a get-rich-quick scheme. The $500 house in Japan is technically real, but the $500 dream? That is the part that is not. If this investigation opened your eyes, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss our deep dives into global real estate. Like this video if you learned something new today. And tell me in the comments, would you consider buying an Akiya in Japan, or does the reality change your mind? I want to hear your honest take.